A damning inquiry into the handling of the Waikeria Prison riot reveals some prisoners feared they would burn alive. The fiery 6-day rampage by 17 prisoners in 2020 destroyed the high-security prison near Te Awamutu. The report found there were significant issues with corrections planning, preparedness and response. There was a lack of decisive early intervention, as well as poor communication and ineffective command and control. Corrections says while it accepts almost all of the 121 recommendations made by the Chief Inspectorate, it can't guarantee another riot like Waikeria won't happen again. Karen Rutherford has the details.
It was chaos and lawlessness behind the wire on a scale New Zealand has never seen before.
The speed of the fire and the total destruction of the top jail. Many of the prisoners certainly described feeling helpless and hopeless, and many really thought that they were going to die that day.
In a damning report out today, Corrections' own watchdog has found a minor argument over the non-return of a razor in a yard sparked a living hell. CCTV cameras were covered in toilet paper, prisoners soaped themselves to resist removal from the yard, and even after guards regained control, the report says several opportunities were missed to prevent the situation escalating again.
The department's preparedness for such an event and response to absolutely needed greater attention, greater resource training, tactical skill and capability, interagency working. So there was much to learn.
By 9 p.m. on the day the riot broke out, 17 prisoners from 7 gangs were rampaging on the roof as toxic smoke overwhelmed staff and the remaining 200 prisoners in their cells, the last of which were only evacuated at 1 a.m.
My greatest concern about this was the timing of the evacuation.
I acknowledge it is really traumatic, but it was a deliberate act by 17 people that we could not have predicted to that scale.
The report found underlying tensions caused the riot, with prisoners going without clean bedding, toilet paper and towels. There was a disconnect between those on the ground and those making decisions. And only on day 4 did a change of prison leadership bring a clear and immediate drive to bring the incident to an end.
Are we better prepared now? Absolutely.
The report outlines how prisoners gained access to the armoury, to shields, helmets and bolt cutters. Some donned corrections uniforms just to confuse.
There needs to be some targeted training specifically on how to deal with these individuals, how to deal with maximum security prisoners. That is something that is completely lacking. The department has this view that all prisoners are equal. Unfortunately, they're not.
The Chief Inspector makes 121 recommendations. Corrections must report back 6 monthly.
What I can't say is an event like this won't happen again, because there is always that risk there. But what I can say is that our ability to manage this at the lowest level and respond quicker is far greater than it was.
And the Minister is watching.
I'm satisfied that they're responding very well to the recommendations inside the Inspector's report.
A report which for prison bosses and their staff could have do or die consequences.
Well, kia ora, Karen. Do corrections officers feel like enough's been done?
They're weary. These are men and women who put their lives on the line for 6 days while Waikeria was burning, and those men were on the roof. And speaking to some of them today, I mean, one has been off work. He's unable to work because he still has such bad anxiety. Others have had to retire on medical leave, and it continues to affect them. Now, some are heartened that the 121 recommendations, a third of them have actually been implemented already. Things like training has been looked at, although they would like to see better training for those maximum security prisoners, which are tricky. There has been a lot of work done with the prison-wide network, with things like the walls, the integrity of the walls, mesh around yards. That is all being regularly looked at now, which is heartening to see. But things like personal protective gear, the Chief Inspectorate said they must improve that, and a lot of prison officers are worried. They want to see things like pepper bombs distributed rather than pepper spray, so that they can actually distribute this right across a yard from a distance, rather than having to go up close and be vulnerable with pepper spray. So they'd like to see a lot more work in that regard.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? A lot to unpack there, Karen. Thank you so much.